Okay. Bandeham Shri Guru Shiyata Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivashikam Vitamscha Om Jnana Timaranda Shaganajana Shalakaya Chakshurun Milidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gaurava Bhistam Supurakam Gurganara Sisha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipunam Shri Rupa Patanugam Govinda Vidam Ujwalam Varatanam Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Bande Vishwa Gurun Shah Divyad Bhagavat Prem Noe Bija Pradam Vanchakopatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavenibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Namah. Ay. ¿Cómo están? ¿Bien?
Gracias, bien. Dandavad.
Dandavad. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Yeah. Esas son las deidades de Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhariju. Okay. The Lord instructs Srila Rupa Goswami. Loka Bida Baye Prabhu Dashabamede Jana Rupa Gosaire Shika Karana Shakti Sancharya. Due to the great Mahaprabhu is in Prayag. He's left Vrindavan and he's traveling. He went to Prayag. There he meets Srila Rupa Goswami. Due to the great crowds in Prayag, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to a place called Dashabameda Ghat. It was there that the Lord instructed Sri Rupa Goswami and empowered him in the philosophy of devotional service. Krishna Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Rasa Tattva, Pranta, Sabha Shikaila Prabhu, Bhagavata Siddhanta. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught Srila Rupa Goswami the ultimate limit of the truth about Lord Krishna, Krishna Tattva, the truth about devotional service, Bhakti Tattva, and the truth about transcendental mellows, Rasa Tattva, culminating in conjugal love between Radha and Krishna. Finally, he told Rupa Goswami about the ultimate conclusions of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavat Siddhanta. Ramananda Pashe Jata Siddhanta Shunila Rupe Kripa Koritaha Sabha Sancharila. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught Rupa Goswami all the conclusions he had heard from Ramananda Roy and duly empowered him so that he could understand them. Shri Rupa Hridoye Prabhu Shakti Sancharila Sarvatattva Nirupane Pravina Korila. By entering the heart of Rupa Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu empowered him to ascertain properly the conclusions of all truths. He made him an experienced devotee whose decisions correctly agreed with the verdicts of the disciplic succession. Thus, Sri Rupa Goswami was personally empowered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shivananda Sener Putra Kabikarnapur Ruper Milan Swagrante Liki Jachim Prachur. In his book, Chaitanya Chandradoy, Kavikarnapur, the son of Shivananda Sen, has elaborately described the meeting between Sri Rupa Goswami and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kalena Brindavana Keli Varta Lupteti Tam Kya Paitum Vishishya Kripam Ritena Vishisecha Devas Tatraiva Rupam Sha Sanatanam Sha. In the course of time, the news of Krishna's pastimes, or the accounts of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, were almost lost. To enunciate explicitly those pastimes, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu empowered Srila Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami with the nectar of his mercy to carry out this work in Vrindavan. Ya prageva priyaguna ganar gara badopi mukto gehadya sad rasa eva paro murta evapi amurta premala pardrida tara parishvanga rangai prayage tam shirupam samam anupamenanu shagraha deva. From the very beginning, Srila Rupa Goswami was deeply attracted by the qualities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thus he was permanently relieved from family life. Srila Rupa Goswami and his younger brother Vallabha were blessed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Although the Lord was situated in his eternal form at Prayag, he told Rupa Goswami about ecstatic love of Krishna. The Lord then embraced him very fondly and bestowed all his mercy upon him. So, maybe to understand this verse a little bit better, can you read the Bengali translation, Maharaj, of 120?
Yeah, it's a little complex. I need a minute to work through it here.
Well, the part I wanted was where it says something about the Lord's eternal form. That's where I wanted to hear.
Yeah, I mean, there's Rasa Iva Paro Murta. So, something like in his higher, or meaning like that's how it's giving eternal paras in like transcendental or form, which is itself an embodiment of rasa. And not, I think the gist is he is the embodiment of rasa, and now he's teaching what is rasa to Rupa Goswami.
Okay. Priya Swarupe, Daita Swarupe, Prema Swarupe, Sahajabhirupe, Nijanurupe, Prabhur Eka Rupe, Tatanarupe, Swa Vilasa Rupe. Indeed, Srila Rupa Goswami, whose dear friend was Swarup Damodar, was the exact replica of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he was very, very dear to the Lord. Being the embodiment of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love, Rupa Goswami was naturally very beautiful. He very carefully followed the principles enunciated by the Lord, and he was a competent person to explain properly the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expanded his mercy to Srila Rupa Goswami just so he could render service by writing divine literatures. Okay. E mata karnapura like stane prabhu kripa koila jache rupa sanatane. The characteristics of Srila Rupa Goswami have thus been described in various places by the poet Kavi Karnapur. An account has also been given of how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestowed his causeless mercy upon Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Sanatana Goswami. Mahaprabhu Rajata Bora Bora Bhakta Matra Rupa Sanatana Savar Kripa Gaurava Patra. Srila Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami were the objects of love and honor for all the great stalwart devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Entonces, mañana yo puedo traer un libro, un iPad que tiene lo que estamos leyendo escrito en español para que puedan seguirlo. Pero hoy no traje eso. Okay. Srila Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami were the objects of love and honor for all the great stalwart devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Keho Jari Deshe Jai, Deki Vrindavan, Tari Prashna, Koran Prabhur, Parisharagan. If someone returned to his country after seeing Vrindavan, the associates of the Lord would ask him questions. Kahatahant Kaiche Rahe Rupa Sanatan, Kaiche Rahe, Kaiche Vairagya, Kaiche Bhojan. They would ask those returning from Vrindavan, how are Rupa and Sanatan doing in Vrindavan? What are their activities in the renounced order? How do they manage to eat? These were the questions asked. Okay. The Lord's associates would also ask, how is it that Rupa and Sanatan are engaging in devotional service 24 hours daily? At that time, the person who had returned from Vrindavan would praise Srila Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. The brothers actually have no fixed residence. They reside beneath trees, one night under one tree and the next night under another. Srila Rupa and Sanatana Goswami beg a little food from the houses of Brahmins, giving up all kinds of material enjoyment. They take only some dry bread and chickpeas. This is ruti, and ruti means like chapati. Okay, so chapatis and chickpeas. They carry only water pots, and they wear torn quilts. They always chant the holy names of Krishna and discuss his pastimes. In great jubilation, they also dance. They engage almost 24 hours daily in rendering service to the Lord. They usually sleep only an hour and a half, and some days, when they continuously chant the Lord's holy name, they do not sleep at all. Sometimes they write literatures about devotional service, and sometimes they hear about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and spend their time thinking about the Lord. When the personal associates of Mahaprabhu would hear of the activities of Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, they would say, "What is wonderful for a person who has been granted the Lord's mercy." Srila Rupa Goswami has personally spoken about the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his auspicious introduction to his book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Okay. Hridayasya preranaya pravartitoham paraka rupapi. Okay. Hridayasya preranaya pravartitoham paraka rupopi tasyaharel para kamalam vande Chaitanya devasya. Although I am the lowest of men and have no knowledge, the inspiration to write literatures about devotional service has been mercifully bestowed upon me. Therefore, I am offering my obeisances at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord himself, who has given me the chance to write these books. For 10 days, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed at Prayag and instructed Rupa Goswami, empowering him with the necessary potency. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "My dear Rupa, please listen to me. It is not possible to describe devotional service completely. Therefore, I'm just trying to give you a synopsis of the symptoms of devotional service. Prabhu kohe shunarup bhakti raser lakan, sutra rupe kohe vistarnat jaivarnan. Parapara shunya gabir bhakti rasa sindhu, tomai chakaite tara kohe ek bindu." The ocean of ras, of devotional service, is so big that no one can estimate its length and breadth. However, just to help you taste it, I am describing but one drop. Aita Brahmanda Bari Ananta Jivagan Chorashi Laka Jonite Koraye Brahman. In this universe, there are limitless living entities and 8,400,000 species, and all are wandering within this universe. Okay, so what is the main quality here? There are so many species of life. Just 8,400,000, but we're not counting all the different species. There are so many species of life. Oh, Sudarshan, Dandavat. Okay. He is not wandering. He came directly here. Oh, Maharaj, you will sit here. That will be good. No. Yes.
Or can I see you here? I can catch your messages coming. And all the love hearts that always float up whenever you say different things. Thank you very much, Govinda.
Okay, Mahaprabhu is saying, in this universe there are limitless living entities and 8,400,000 species, and all are wandering within this universe. So the main element, there's so many living entities. Have a seat. Krishna Shraya. There's so many living entities, and they all have one thing in common. They're wandering. They're wandering from one species of life to another. All these different species. They go from one species to another, like a traveler goes to a different, goes to different residences. Like Maharaj here, he was traveling across country. Sometimes the traveler, he can stay in some nice accommodations, and sometimes there's not nice accommodations, I remember one time I was traveling, and then I saw, oh, here's a hotel, and then I stopped and I said, how much is this for a room? And he says, $3. And I said, $3 for a night? And he said, no, for an hour. So then we left that hotel. All right. So anyway, the living entities are all wandering. So many species alive. Keshagra Shatika Bhaga Puna Shatamsha Kori Tarasama Shukma Jiver Swarup Vichari. The length and breadth of the living entity is described as 1/10,000th part of the tip of a hair. This is the original subtle nature of the living entity. And it is said, there's the Lord can be so great in size, like Mahavishnu, enormous size, can't imagine how big. But it says, among minute particles, I am the jiva. So, we need not be so proud. I may not be so proud. I may, everybody here in this room knows me outside, and as you heard before, outside in Santa Cruz, nobody knows who I am. Just in this room, I'm a jiva. Yeah. Maybe appearing as a big jiva, but I'm just a minute particle jiva. Keshagra Shada Bhagasha Shatamsha Sadrishatmaka Jiva Shukma Swarupoyam Shangyatito Ki Chitkana. If we divide the tip of a hair into 100 parts and then take one of these parts and divide it into again, if we divide the tip of a hair into 100 parts and then take one of these parts and divide it again into 100 parts, that very fine division is the size of but one of the numberless living entities. They're all chitkana, particles of spirit, not matter. Balagra Shata Bhagasya Shata Da Kopitasya Bhagojiva Sa Vigya Iti Chaha Parashruti. If we divide the tip of a hair into 100 parts and then take one part and divide this into another 100 parts, that 10,000 part is the dimension of the living entities. This is the verdict of the chief Vedic mantra. So just giving you the idea that the living entities are all in a subordinate position to the Lord because they're very small, very small. Shukshmanam api aham jiva. Lord Krishna says, among minute particles, I am the living entity, I'm the jiva. Aparimita dhruvas tanu brito yadi sarvagutas tarhina shashya teti niyamo dhruva netarata ajanicha yanmayam tad avimucha niyantri bhavet samam anujanatam yad amatam mata dushtataya. O Lord, although the living entities who have accepted material bodies are spiritual and unlimited in number, if they were all pervading, there would be no question of their being under your control. If they are accepted, however, as particles of the eternally existing spiritual entity as part of you, who are the Supreme Spirit whole, we must conclude that they are always under your control. If the living entities are simply satisfied with being identical with you as spiritual particles, then they will be happy being controllers of so many things. The conclusion that the living entities and the Supreme Lord are one and the same is a faulty conclusion. It is not a fact. So, because they're small, they're under the control of the Lord, and his energy. Okay. Taramadye stavara jangama duibed jangame tiryak jala stalachara bibed. The unlimited living entities can be divided into two divisions. Those who can move and those that cannot move. Among living entities that can move, there are birds, aquatics, and animals. And among living entities who can't move, there are different plants, trees, etc. Taramadye manusya jati ati avatar, taramadye mulecha pulinda bodha sabar. Although the living entities known as human beings are very, very small in quantity, that division may be still further subdivided, for there are many uncultured human beings like Malechas, Pulindas, Bodhas, and Sabars. Why are they uncultured?
Because they don't follow the advices of the Vedic scriptures.
Is that the only reason? They're uncultured because they don't follow the Vedas. But here in the West, nobody knows of the Vedas. Yeah. They're uncultured because they don't follow the Vedas, and they're uncultured because they don't have any spiritual values in their life, and they can't even hear about that, right? So you're mentioning the Vedas, that's so they can hear something, but, Veda Nishta Madhye Ardeka Veda Mukhe Mane Veda Nishida Papa Kore Dharma Nahigane. Among human beings, those who are followers of the Vedic principles are considered civilized. So you're correct. Among these, almost half simply give lip service while committing all kinds of sinful activities against these principles. Such people do not care for the regulative principles. So they may be technically civilized, but not so much, right? They just give lip service to the Vedas. Dharmachari madhya bahuta karma nishta koti karma nishta madhya ek jnani shreshta. Among the followers of Vedic knowledge, most are following the process of fruitive activity and distinguishing between good and bad work. And here it says, defines as those who follow the Vedas, they're called dharmacharis. Dharmacharis. The dharmacharis. Among the followers of the Vedic knowledge, the dharmacharis, all of you and more, you're more than that. Among the followers of Vedic knowledge, most are following the process of fruitive activity and distinguishing between good and bad work. Out of many such sincere fruitive actors, there may be one who is actually wise. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur states that the word karmanishta refers to one who aspires to enjoy the results of his good work and pious activity. Some followers of Vedic principles offer everything to the absolute truth and do not aspire to enjoy the results of their pious activities. These are also considered among the karmanishtas. Sometimes we see pious men earn money with great hardship and then spend the money for some pious cause by opening public charities, schools, and hospitals. Whether one earns money for himself or for the public benefit, he is called a karmanishta. Out of millions of karmanishtas, there may be one who is wise. That's defined here. Jnani, those who try to avoid fruitive activity and who become silent in order to merge into the spiritual existence of the absolute truth are generally known as jnanis, wise men. So we have some people even here in our immediate vicinity who are very silent. And according to what is being said by Srila Saraswati Thakur, they're jnanis, they're wise men. They are not interested in fruitive activity, but in merging into the Supreme. And in either case, both the karmanishtas and the jnanis are interested in personal benefit. The karmis are directly interested in personal benefit within the material world, and the jnanis are interested in merging into the existence of the Supreme. The jnanis maintain that fruitive activity is imperfect. For them, perfection is the cessation of work and the merging into the Supreme existence. That is their goal of life. The jnani wants to extinguish the distinction between knowledge, the knower, and the aim of knowledge. This philosophy is called monism, or oneness, and is characterized by spiritual silence. So we have, as I said, some persons down the road who are engaged in spiritual silence, right? So you may not know them, but Koti Jnani Madhye Hoy Ek Jana Mukta, Koti Mukta Madhye Durlabha Ek Krishna Bhakta. Out of many millions of such wise men, one may actually become liberated, mukta, and out of many millions of such liberated persons, a pure devotee of Lord Krishna is very difficult to find. Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ateva Shanta, Bhukti Mukti Siddhikami Sakaliya Shanta. Because a devotee of Lord Krishna is desireless, he is peaceful. Fruit of workers desire material enjoyment, jnanis desire liberation, and yogis desire material opulence. Therefore, they are all lusty and cannot be peaceful. Okay? Because a devotee of Lord Krishna is desireless, he is peaceful. Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Ateva Shanta. And everyone else has some desires. Bhukti, mundane people, they want bhukti, enjoyment. Mukti, the jnanis, they want liberation. And siddhikami, the yogis, they want mystic cities, mystic powers. So but they have some desires for something. It may be something like mystic powers, it may be knowledge, whatever. Maybe liberation, but it's still something mundane, basically. Only Krishna Bhakta Nishkam, only in devotees without any desire. Because why? Devotee's desire is to serve the Lord. It's not for himself. Muktanam api siddhanam narayana parayana sadurlabha prashantatma kotishvapi mahamune. Okay. Believe this verse, I believe, is spoken by Shiva, isn't it? It's spoken about Chitraketu, and it's from the 6th canto. Anyway, it's a comment about Chitraketu. It says, O great sage, as far as I know, O great sage, out of many millions of materially liberated people who are free from ignorance, and out of many millions of siddhas who have nearly attained perfection, there is hardly one pure devotee of Narayan. Only such a devotee is actually completely satisfied and peaceful. That's the quality of a devotee. Brahmanda Brahmate Kona, Bhagavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasadi Pai, Bhakti Lata Bij. According to their karma, all living entities are wandering throughout the entire universe. Some of them are being elevated to the upper planetary systems, and some are going down into the lower planetary systems. Out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is very fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with the bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. By the mercy of both Krishna and the spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of the creeper of devotional service. So Brahmanda Brahmite Kona. There's again mentioning what was said before, that the living entities are wandering. They're wandering in all species of life and through many different planetary systems, different universes, everything. It's just, they're just wandering aimlessly. They don't know where they're going. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona. Bhagavanji, but one becomes Bhagavan means when one becomes fortunate. One becomes a fortunate living entity. Then Guru Krishna Prasadi Pai. By the mercy of Krishna, one actually gets a guru. All right? And by the mercy of the guru, one gets Krishna. Guru Krishna Prasadi Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. And one comes in contact with a spiritual master, and one gets the quality of Bhakti Lata Bij. Guru Krishna Prasadi Pai. Okay. Out of many millions, okay. One who is very fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with the bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. By the mercy of both Krishna and the spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of the creeper of devotional service. Okay. Where is that? Malihoya Kori Se Bijaropan Shravana Kirtana Jale Koraye Sevan. When a person receives the seed of devotional service, the person should take care of it by becoming a gardener and sowing the seed in one's heart. If one waters the seed, gradually by the process of Shravan and Kirtan, hearing and chanting, the seed will begin to sprout. Right? Upajiya Bore Lata Brahmanda Bedi Jai Viraja Brahmalok Bede Parabhyomapai. As one waters the Bhakti Lata Bij, the seed sprouts and the creeper gradually grows to the point where it penetrates the walls of this universe and goes beyond the Viraja river, lying between the spiritual world and the material world. It attains Brahmalok, the Brahman effulgence, and penetrating through that stratum, it reaches the spiritual sky and the spiritual planet Goloka Vrindavan. So what did Guru Maharaj say about Viraja?
It's real Viraja.
Yeah.
Real Viraja. You know, a lot of blood and bones and everything is.
What?
The dirt in the Viraja place.
Maharaj, you can say something about Viraja.
Viraja River.
Where is it? What is it? What is this Viraja river?
Guru Maharaj's general analysis was Viraja represents material energy in its most subtle and undifferentiated state, and bordering with Brahma, or the spiritual energy in its least developed state. So those are on a juncture or on a shore.
What's the word? Guru Maharaj used the word
Abskissa.
abskisha. He says everything is kind of like what? Unmanifested state, right? Nothing is. It's the plane between spirit. It's not. It's a plane. The river is plane between spirit and matter. But I don't. The word. What is the word?
Abskissa, like in a graph, you've got the positive side, you've got the negative, and then the middle part, where it's not positive or negative, is called the abskissa.
Okay. So it goes beyond that Viraja river, enters into the atmosphere, we can say, if you want to use that word, atmosphere of Vaikuntha Lok, which is Brahma Jyoti, and then it goes beyond, let's see, it's a creeper, creeper has a quality of, it reaches the spiritual sky, and it goes through the Brahma Jyoti and it reaches the planet of Goloka Vrindavan. And quality of creepers are that they're like vines, right? Yeah. Okay. Tabijai Tadupari Goloka Vrindavan Krishna Charana Kalpa Vrike Koreya Rohan. Being situated in one's heart and being watered by Shravan and Kirtan, the bhakti creeper grows more and more. In this way, it attains the shelter of the desired tree of the lotus feet of Krishna, who is eternally situated in the planet known as Goloka Vrindavan, in the topmost region of the spiritual sky. So this creeper is growing. Then, Tahan Vistarita Hoya Fale Prema Fal, Ihan Male Seche Nitya Shravanadija. The creeper gradually expands in the Goloka Vrindavan planet, and there it produces the fruit of love for Krishna. Although remaining in the material world, the gardener regularly sprinkles the creeper with the water of hearing and chanting. And there's a creeper, and it's come to the lotus feet of Krishna, which are said to be a kalpa vriksha. They're a desire tree, So what do creepers do in relationship with trees? What do creepers do in relationship with trees? Yeah, they like a vine. They go around it. And this creeper is producing love of Godhead. And although the gardener of this creeper, the devotee who's planted the seed of devotional service in his or her heart and is watering the tree with Shravan and Kirtanam, and that creeper is watering the plant with Shravan and Kirtan. That creeper has now reached the Goloka Vrindavan planet, gone through the material universe, beyond the Viraja, beyond the Brahmajyoti, into the Goloka Vrindavan planet, and has now attained the lotus feet of the Lord, that kalpa vriksha, that desire tree, and then Jai Dandava. Nice.
Bhakti Sundar Govinda Mela, Maharaj. Bhakti Rock of
See, this is also opulence. I mean, so many unseen devotees. They're making these garlands, they're cooking, they're doing so many things. And they're really sustaining us. We're just, okay, you can sit here, but they're actually doing so many things. That's going on. And I know all of you, you're doing so many things in your temples. Like, yeah. We know what it is sometimes, a small temple. Sometimes even this temple is small, and I think it was Alexander the Great. He said, I think it was Alexander the Great or someone, he said, it's more difficult to maintain a family than an empire. Meaning a small temple, to maintain a small temple, somebody has to be the pujari, the collector, the worshipper, the cook, everything.
In Salt Lake, we all do all of those. Everybody's the Tulsi manager.
That's what I said. That's what it means, and that's what Guru Maharaj gave the title all-rounder. All-rounder. Now, normally we don't watch, football, but there are some people. There are some people that they can do everything. Govinda Maharaj says the football will always come to them. It will always come to them. All right. Okay. The creeper greatly expands in the Goloka Vrindavan planet, and there it produces the fruit of love for Krishna. Although remaining in the material world, the gardener regularly sprinkles the creeper with the water of hearing and chanting. You can keep one for, if you like, for maybe Maharaj will come down. Oh, who? Well, we need to keep one for Parvat Maharaj. Okay.
You can have an ethereal down.
Jahi Vaishnava Parad Utehati Mata Upadena Chinde Tara Shuki Jaya Pata. If the devotee commits an offense at the feet of a Vaishnava while cultivating the creeper of devotional service in the material world, his offense is compared to a mad elephant that uproots the creeper and breaks it. In this way, the leaves of the creeper are dried up. So, that's a very important point here, that your devotional creeper will continue to grow and grow and produce love for the Lord. But the one thing that especially one has to be very careful about is not to commit any Vaishnava aparadhas. Because that's the one thing that can stop the growth, at least for some time, of this devotional creeper, is to commit offense at the feet of the Vaishnava. Mad elephant that will just break up the whole, destroy everything. So, and we heard elsewhere that, there can be, competition between devotees. And I've even heard Govinda Maharaj say that when he sees another Vaishnava with some quality that he greatly admires, he tries to appropriate that quality, to be able to develop that quality within oneself. So there can be, competition, and there may be in some ways jealousy that, oh, this Vaishnava is so advanced, But there shouldn't be envy. Shouldn't be envy towards them. One should not belittle a Vaishnava saying, oh, that person is considered so great, but, what's so great about him? That's not good. We want to be able to appreciate the qualities of Vaishnavas. So, I'm sure when I look around and I see, like, Govinda Maharaj used to say that we have to be able to, what was that day, one day of the year, the day after Gaur Purnima, isn't it? The first day of the Vishva. What?
Vishva Vaishnava, so that's the last day.
Yeah, last day of the year, okay. Then on that day, everyone would glorify the other Vaishnavas, which is very important. And I can say, just looking out, since I know so many of you, almost all of you, there's qualities in every one of you that I could glorify without really having to try to exaggerate or just say some nice words, but actually be able to appreciate qualities of all the Vaishnavas. So, Tati Male Jatna Kori Kori Avaran Aparad Hastir Jaichi Nahoy Udgam. The gardener must defend the creeper by fencing it all around so that the powerful elephant of offenses may not enter. So, let's see. Then we discussed some of these offenses the other day when it was Gundicha Marjan, and we were reading about cleansing the temple of Gundicha in order for the Lord to go there during the Ratha Yatra, because actually Gundicha Marjan was last Friday, and Saturday was Ratha Yatra, and I think it was it yesterday that we read about Hera Panchami? Yeah, yesterday was Hera Panchami. So we were reading from those chapters because they were very pertinent. And in the chapter about Gundicha Marjan, it mentioned the different qualities, different kinds of weeds that grow along with the creeper that one should uproot. But now that we're here and hearing the chapter about the qualities of the Lord's instructions to Srila Rupa Goswami, maybe we could discuss here among ourselves a little bit of something of, this is a very key chapter because of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, because we're aspiring to be Rupanuga's followers of Srila Rupa Goswami, and he is given responsibility, by Mahaprabhu for our sampradaya, to the point that basically the writings of Krishnadas Kaviraj, the Chaitanya Charitamrita in particular, is meant to establish Rupa Goswami as the leader of our sampradaya. And this is the first meeting of Mahaprabhu with Rupa Goswami in Prayag. So, Maharaj, you can say something of the glories of Srila Rupa Goswami, which is being established in this chapter.
Well, unlimitedly glorious, but it was Mahaprabhu's choice to choose Rupa Goswami. And there are other devotees there, so many of his parshads, but Mahaprabhu had his particular wish to establish Rupa Goswami as the holder of the sampradaya. And as Guru Maharaj says, we don't call ourselves the Chaitanya Nuga Sampradaya, we call ourselves the Rupa Nuga Sampradaya. And so it is a transmission from Mahaprabhu to Rupa Goswami. And Rupa Goswami then, with those, as you were saying about the bija, the seeds of what Mahaprabhu has given to him, then Mahaprabhu said, now, from what I've given you, you expand on this and you present this conception to the world. And so from the instructions of Mahaprabhu to Rupa Goswami, then by the desire, by the transmission of the desire, the will, everything is heart to heart, from Mahaprabhu to Rupa. And then Rupa, he became, as Mahaprabhu wanted, the presenter of the highest truths for our Sampradaya, the Rupa Nuga Sampradaya.
And okay, so Maharaj, then we are followers of Srila Sridhar Maharaj and Srila Govinda Maharaj. So how does that also relate with the? You tell us how that also, what happens, how that relates with the Rupa Nuga Sampradaya.
Well, here, just in the section that we're reading, we come to the definition of Shuddha Bhakti. And Rupa Goswami's expertise and the vast majority of his writings pertain to Rasa Tattva. But to have any substantial entrance into that, one first has to appreciate what is Shuddha Bhakti. So, to show the highest respect to the teachings of Rupa Goswami, to what he's being given here by Sriman Mahaprabhu, then you can say Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Govinda Maharaj, Srila Gurudev have given the utmost care to see that that is not misused or misrepresented, that the highest respect is shown to that purity of devotion that is the qualification to enter into those things. So although they don't speak to us in detail about the majority of Srila Rupa Goswami's writings, we consider that for the specific stage that we're in, this is the necessary instruction in the line of Srila Rupa Goswami that's perfectly adjusted for us in our stage. So, the Upadeshamrita, the early portion of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, these form the main guidelines of our practicing life, and their principles and their spirit are shown so gloriously in the life of Srila Gurudev and Srila Rupa. By that connection, we have faith that we will be led to the real pure spirit and substance of the Rupa Nuga Sampradaya, and that is not only the faith of persons coming in the present day, but that was the view of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur himself in his observation of Srila Sridhar Maharaj and his writing and his representation, and was the cause for which he chose Srila Sridhar Maharaj to sing Sri Rupa Manjari Pada at his final time, and thereby indicated that this current and the means by which others can have a substantial connection with what Srila Rupa Goswami has given and what devotion is due to Rupa Goswami, as shown by Raghunath Goswami and Narottam Thakur in the song, that can be appreciated by the grace of Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, and we can add further gloriously illustrated in the life and the teachings of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Govinda Dev Goswami.
Yeah, and in the Pranam mantra of Srila Govinda Maharaj, it says, Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipanam Sri Rupa Patanugam. Yeah, so one thing about Srila Govinda Maharaj, we saw, that Chintya Chintya, everything that could be seen and that which could not be seen, what could be known and not that which couldn't normally be known, that which is very subtle, that was known to Srila Govinda Maharaj. And we know that as Jaggi Maharaj is saying, that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, before he left this world, having been satisfied by Srila Guru Maharaj's, poems about Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur's disappearance. Recently we celebrated that also, the disappearance of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur and also Gadadhar Das Pandit. We celebrated their divine disappearance, and Guru Maharaj had written the Bhakti Vinod Varahadashakam, And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was very satisfied with that composition, and he said, at least now I can go knowing there is at least one person qualified to represent our sampradaya, and that person is Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And then he asked Srila Sridhar Maharaj to sing Sri Rupa Manjari Pada, as Maharaj was talking about, before he left this world, and everyone could appreciate the responsibility for protecting the Rupanuga Sampradaya was being placed with Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj. But we also saw, sometimes we see that Srila Govinda Maharaj's character is very good-natured and jovial. But as we were in Navadip, Govinda Maharaj would regularly lift up a telephone just to see, because as normal, in those days there were no cell phones, and the lines weren't working. For months they weren't working. So one day he lifted it up, just checking. He would daily check it, lift it up, there would be no line, and he'd put it down. Then one day he lifted it up, and there, speaking on the telephone, without it ringing or anything, was Krishna Vallabha, right? And he was telling Srila Govinda Maharaj that some land directly touching the land of Srila Jiva Goswami, the Radha Damodar temple, that land, after years of litigation, was now available, and he wanted Srila Govinda Maharaj to have that land. And others were offering 3, 4, 5, 10 times more. But he wanted, it was said that they wanted Srila Govinda Maharaj to have that property. And that is the property of Radha Damodar, is where the Samadhi and the Bhajan Kutir of Srila Rupa Goswami are. So, we consider that was the property of the Rupanuga Sampradaya, and it was Govinda Maharaj was being asked to do. And Govinda Maharaj said, I can't go there now. And then Krishna Vallabha, he said, that is not important. You just send somebody here who can sign for you, and I will arrange everything. And then someone was sent, and it was all arranged. But that property came by the Lord's desire, the continuation of the representation of the Rupanuga Sampradaya, shown in a nice way, coming to Srila Govinda Maharaj without his endeavor. And Govinda Maharaj previously had a property on the outskirts of the Parikrama Marg of Vrindavan. But he said every time I tried to build a boundary wall or something like that, it would blow over or fall down. Then I could understand. He said, although it's my principle that I will never sell a property, normally, even you can see in San Jose, Govinda Maharaj, that property, which is the property of Jayanta Krishna and Brajamohini, that they purchased. It was Govinda Maharaj's desire that we would retain that property, right? So he never would sell a property, but that property on the Parikrama Marg, he said, I could understand the Lord didn't want me to be so far in the outskirts, and that was the one property Govinda Maharaj did sell. So because he got the property of Krishnadas Kaviraj, the temple, the place of Radha Vrindavan Chandra, and then he also got the place of, the land that's just, what is the name of yeah, and the name of the house, the name of the building that Govinda Maharaj.
Rupa Saraswati Sridhar Seva Kunj.
Okay. Kintu Jadi, we'll read a couple more verses, then we'll have some kirtan, right? Okay. Kintu Jadi Latara Sangi Ute Upashaka Bhukti Mukti Bancha Jata Asankhya Tara Leka. Sometimes unwanted creepers, such as the creepers of desires for material enjoyment and liberation from the material world, grow along with the creeper of devotional service. The varieties of such unwanted creepers are unlimited. So we want to get rid of so many unwanted bad habits and so many other things. So sometimes unwanted creepers grow along with the Bhakti Lata beads. Just like sometimes although we want to welcome everyone, sometimes we have to get rid of also unwanted creeps who may come. Nishidachar Kutinati Jiva Himsasan Labda Puja Pratishtadi Jatupashakagan. Some unnecessary creepers growing with the bhakti creeper are the creepers of behavior unacceptable for those trying to attain perfection. Diplomatic behavior, animal killing, mundane profiteering, mundane adoration, and mundane importance. All these are unwanted creepers. Nishidachar, behavior not exhibited by a person desiring to become perfect. I could speak on that. Kutinati, diplomacy. Jiva himsana, unnecessary killing animals or the soul. Labha, profit according to material calculations. Puja, adoration. So labha just means basically being greedy. Puja, adoration achieved by satisfying mundane people. Pratishtadi, becoming an important person in material calculations. All these are unwanted creepers that one should get rid of. Shekajala Bhaya Upashaka Borijai Stabda Haya Mula Shaka Boridena Pai. If one does not distinguish between the Bhakti Lata creeper and the other creepers, the sprinkling of water is misused because the other creepers are nourished while the Bhakti Lata creeper is curtailed. So sometimes, somebody may plant many, many acres of land with wheat or with oats or so many other things, and they can just throw the seeds and, water it, and then so much wheat or oats grow. But if one is trying to maintain like a vegetable garden, one plants maybe just like half an acre or a quarter of an acre or even less of vegetables or fruit or flowers, that's very, very labor intensive. That really requires a lot of work, what is being talked about here. Growing a lot of wheat, you can have tractors and all that, but you try and grow some nice flowers or some nice vegetables in a garden, you have to work like crazy, really. And you're always pulling up weeds, because what happens if you don't pull up the weeds? Then you're just watering and applying fertilizer and nutrition and all that just for a bunch of weeds to grow. And they'll choke out what is really of value there. So that's very difficult labor. Pratame upa shakar koraye chedan tabemula shakabori jai brindavan. As soon as an intelligent person sees an unwanted creeper growing beside the original creeper, that person must cut it down instantly. Then the real creeper, the Bhakti Lata, grows nicely, returns home back to Godhead, and seeks shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna. So, here we have with us around the corner Vishaka. Now, she's always been very much of a good example to us of a person, who, very carefully nourishes her, plant of devotional service, and is very careful in her activities. So maybe she can say a few words about this.
Maybe just step forward a little bit, Vishaka.
Yeah, so we could see more than the top of your head.
I was thinking about that.
Say something about what?
You were asking before for us to say something about Srila Rupa Goswami, so I'm a little
Okay,
distracted.
do that. That's good too.
I'm distracted and thinking about that.
All right.
But I can relate it to this question.
Huh?
I'll relate it to the second question.
Okay. You speak about what you want.
No, I was thinking this prayer, Maharaj can say who's by, but this famous expression, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Dati Swapradantikam. That what is so great about Srila Rupa Goswami, that he is the one who fulfills the innermost desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so you were discussing the other day how in the Ratha Yaksha Mahaprabhu, he's chanting this like incomprehensible, like Srila Sridhar said, it's like a nasty song, like describing something like totally mundane.
Pop song.
It's like from a novel, like a very ordinary thing. Mahaprabhu's singing that, and everyone's like bewildered. What is this about? But Srila Rupa Goswami, he understands. He's able to understand the inner heart of Mahaprabhu, and he later writes the parallel verse expressing the inner purport of Mahaprabhu's feeling of the meeting of Radha, Krishna, etc. And Mahaprabhu, he's so, he gives like a love slap, as Goswami Maharaj said. Like, how could you understand? How could you understand? And Sri Damodar Goswami says, because you blessed him. So Srila Rupa Goswami, he is given such special position in our Sampradaya, understanding the inner heart of Mahaprabhu, and then giving his whole life to represent the teachings of Mahaprabhu and writing. Mahaprabhu himself did not put things down, but Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, they did that service. And so this point about understanding the inner heart of our Ishta Devata, who is really our Gurudev, this is so central to the success of our practice in life. When we're calculating what we will do, what we won't do, we're trying to think in those terms. What will really satisfy the inner heart of Mahaprabhu and of our Gurudev and Mahaprabhu. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he also did that so perfectly when he wrote the Bhakti Yoga Retreat, which you also mentioned, because he should have glorified his Gurudev, but he understood that what would really satisfy his Guru would be to satisfy his Guru, and so he composed that, and in that way he really captured the inner heart of Srila Saraswati Thakur. So I think this is the best way that our Bhakti Lata Beach will grow and flourish, if we can try to understand what will satisfy the inner heart of our Gurudev, and we can do that. And I think this festival, the Govinda Mela, is a very good thing to do in this regard.
When I also like before Mahaprabhu was speaking to Rupa Goswami, he says, well, this is what I heard from Ramananda Roy. This is what he told me. Before Mahaprabhu went to South India, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, well, I want you to meet Ramananda Roy. Before, I knew of him, but I didn't pay so much attention to him because he's a Vaishnava. And at that time, I wasn't really an appreciation of Vaishnava. So now I can see something of who he is. So you should meet with him. But, when the king, Maharaj Pratarparudra, is describing Gopinath Patanayaka, he says that Gopinath and his brothers, like he's speaking of Ramananda Roy, they all had charges of collecting taxes in different places of South India. And I didn't pay so much attention to what they collected and what they turned in. It was kind of like they gave them some free rein, and I didn't really monitor, what they're turning in. So according to, Govinda Maharaj talked about this point. He said by material estimation, Ramananda Roy, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, even Haridas Thakur, you know, there, and who else? Persons, you know, Govinda Maharaj said that Mahaprabhu didn't spread his teachings through big, prominent sannyasis and persons holding, you know, exalted position, but he chose to spread his teachings from, you know, by those persons who were not necessarily esteemed within the society. You know, Rup Sanatan, they never tried to go in the temple of Jagannath Puri. And Raghunath Das Goswami, he's from a, you know, rich family. And Ramananda Roy, we mentioned, he says, you know, Kiba Vipra Kiba Nyasi Shudra. No, Mahaprabhu says in relation to that. First, Ramananda Roy said, why should I be giving answers to you or instructing you superficially when I'm just a Shudra? He calls himself just a Shudra. So who am I to say anything to you? You're the Lord himself. Mahaprabhu says, Kiba Vipar Kiba Nyasi Shudra Kenino Ye Krishna Tat Viveta Se Guru Hoy. I don't care how people see you, you know, in terms of your position in society. He says, Ye Krishna Tat Viveta. I can hear from you because you're actually speaking, you know, everything that we need to know. Jai Krishna Tattva Veda, Krishna Tattva. And everything is coming through personalities who weren't, you know, in the strict Brahminical society of the day. They weren't seen as eminent persons with it. You know. So anyway, we'll stop here. Tomorrow we'll continue. Now we'll have a little kirtan and then we'll have breakfast. And we have other programs. Maybe Maharaj can mention some of the programs that are on today.
Yes, so we have Kirtan and Prasadam now. Then a little later at 10 o'clock we'll have a Kirtan workshop. And then at 11 we'll meet on the Samadhi and we'll speak in glorification of.
What time is that?
11 o'clock we'll meet at the Samadhi for glorification of Om Vishnu Pad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj. Yes.
And the Kirtan workshop, where will that be?
That'll be in the Pandal.
In the Pandal out here on the side.
Yes.
And that will be at
10
o'clock. Okay, and then we have some programs here in the afternoon and some programs downtown.
Yes, there'll be a Harinam Sankirtan leaving here at 3:30 for anyone who wishes to come. And side by side there'll also be programs going on here in the afternoon. And in the evening there is a public program at the museum. However, the capacity of the room that's rented is very small, so there will not be so much room for everyone, and we hope that what room there is will go to any guests that come, because simultaneously there'll be a festival and everything going on here for devotees. So
we can take over the museum.
So as per your preference or inspiration, we will have classes and arati and programs here in the temple, or a Harinam Sankirtan and an introductory program for the public downtown this afternoon.
We were previously in that museum because Srimati, she's not here right now, Shambhunath's mother, she had a painting exhibited at that museum called Portrait of a Monk, and it was a picture of Ramai that she painted, and it was exhibited in that museum. So we've already been in that museum, we know that museum, so we can take that museum. All right, now we'll have some kirtan, and then Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Jadavaya Namah Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Jadavaya Namah Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah
Girinari Gopinata Madana Mokara Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra
Jai Sapadikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramasapara Vidyakachari Ashtatara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramasapara Vidyakachari Ashtatara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Rakab Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namachar Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Prabhu Gauri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vishwavarena Shri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmalacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Ki Jai. Saparsada Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparsada Shri Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Moladeep Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram Ki Jai. Mangadevi Ki Jai. Sri Maharani Ki Jai. Devi Ki Jai. Sri Vrindavanam Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopi Govardhan Sham Punarada Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Jo Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Sri Govinda Mela Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande.
Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj Ki
Jai.